Welcome to Off-Grid Victory. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about construction and on the homestead what I would recommend in terms of salvaging things, reusing things, upcycling things, recycling things, right? So I have this old target stand that I use, a paper target stand, and unfortunately I ran it over with my tractor and broke it a little bit. But I had two of these things, so I was able to construct with the parts, and I kind of broke both of them, but I was able to construct that guy out of the remaining bits. So I salvaged one, broke one basically. But the nature of this video is about these guys right here, and they're about screws, right? And I know there are preppers out there that prep a lot of screws, and I like to build with screws because of two things. I can recycle the screws. Clearly, stuff like that, it's bent out, you can't use. But even this one, I mean, you could take a hammer to it and kind of bend it out and use it. And as long as this head, in terms of the wear on that, as long as that's good, you can reuse the screw, even this. Obviously, if it's broken like this, yeah, you can't use it. But you can see, I think I made these targets a few years ago, and it's been out in the weather all this time, and these are galvanized screws, and you can see some of them have started to rust, in the wood, with even I guess part of it's not the resin that's in it, but some of this wood was pressurized like this, so maybe the salt kind of damaged that and made that rust. But at any rate, my whole point is, if you use screws, you can unscrew and use it again, and so yeah, that's what I would recommend. Use screws to build. And in terms of the actual screws themselves, like this one, you can see the head's not torn out too much, but reverse and forward, obviously, it's going to make different kind of wear marks on your screws. So eventually, yeah, you won't be able to use these, but for now, yeah, they're getting a second life, right? And I was able to rebuild what I had damaged, because inevitably on the homestead you do end up damaging things, and of course by using screws you can reutilize a lot of those screws, and as well as the wood, and be able to make something useful out of it again. So yeah, I would recommend using screws highly. And the other thing I would recommend in terms of woodworking, definitely pre-drill everything before you use a screw. That'll ensure two things. It'll ensure that your wood doesn't split, and it'll also guide the screw to the path that you want it to go, right? Like, you don't want the screw to go off angle and end up somewhere else other than holding the other piece of wood that you're screwing to. So yes, on our homestead, I mainly build with screws. Pretty much everything, even my shipping container home, I've built with screws. And that's not only to save on the screws and reuse it like this, but also, if you make a mistake, it's easy to rectify. You just unscrew the thing out and then screw it again. In terms of the actual screws types, the Phillips here is useful. I mean, these are old style, and I've had these screws forever. But I would recommend more the deck. The hex or the Torx variety of screw heads. They bite a little bit better, and they don't tend to do that and kind of wear out, fray out, and strip, and they tend to last a little bit longer, I think. But these have lasted pretty well a long time, and so yeah, I would recommend screws. I would recommend pre-drilling, and of course reusing, recycling, and upcycling. Alrighty, shalom.